Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Tabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And, well, y'all know what we're going to be talking about today, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to our Dreamerspro Short Clips channel that we're going to have pinned in the comment section below. So let's get into this topic here. As y'all know, the bombshell story. Shannon Sharpe is going to be leaving undisputed. And the funniest thing is like everybody's talking about everything except the elephant in the room. And this is why I love being in the independent space, because in the independent space, you can pretty much talk about these things, but ESPN is not going to talk about what's happening at FS1. And FS1 is not going to talk about their own business, which leaves all of that good, juicy topics for us to talk about here in the independent space. And I personally love it. So we all know that Shannon Sharpe, the news, the bombshell news dropped that Shannon Sharpe will be leaving undisputed at the end of these NBA finals, which is just incredible, right? A show that had been running since 2015, 16. The show's been around for about 7 years. I think it was 15 or 16 in September or something like a very, very long time, right? But it looks like, this thing is finally coming to a close. And over the years, the show had its highs and its lows. I really enjoyed it in the first few years, but over the last year and a half, I've had my criticisms of Undisputed. And one of my biggest criticisms was this. Number one, the show's topics started to become extremely repetitive. It was either Tom Brady, it was either the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron James, and then in between there, they will sprinkle in a few Clippers stories and a few other things. But generally, every single day, you knew it was either going to be the Lakers or the Cowboys, Tom Brady, LeBron. You knew this. And I thought it was starting to become very stale, right? I thought ESPN First Take did a much better job at keeping things fresh, talking about a wider range of topics when we're comparing these two morning shows. This is just my opinion. My opinion is not the gospel. It's just what I personally think. That's the one part. The other part that I think really annoyed me and aggravated me, and I think a lot of people, was just the barrage of attacks on Russell Westbrook. I think at one point Russell Westbrook was basically being singled out and bullied on that show. I mean, at every opportunity they took it to trash Russell Westbrook, to the point where even his wife, the man's wife, had to say, please, enough is enough. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And at the time, many of us speculated that the person that was doing this, the driving force behind this, was Skip Bayless. Initially, when it started, Shannon Sharpe would partake in it, right? He would partake in it. But as time started to go on, I think Shannon started to hear what a lot of people were saying out there, which was, you guys are piling on. You guys are piling on. And as a former athlete, you're going a little bit too hard on this thing. Y'all are really, really, really piling on. Even up to the point where Russell Westbrook got traded, they were still finding ways to talk about him in a nasty, disgusting way. Because the major issue around him had always been, well, he was like a locker room cancer to the Lakers. So after he left, why are you guys still discussing this guy ad nauseum every single day? This was the question some of us were asking. And then I remembered a show I had seen involving Skip Bayless. This show was produced 1 year ago on the Skip Bayless show. And in this show, the topic was, or the topic of the show was, the title of the show rather, Skip Bayless reveals how Undisputed shows and topics are planned. Now, I clicked on the show at the time 1 year ago to kind of gain an insight into how these guys produce their show as us, as our team here. We produce shows every day, and we have our own system of producing shows. So I was very interested to gain an insight on how they do things, right? And as I listened to that clip then, and I remembered it now, I realized that, wait a minute, maybe one of the reasons Shannon Sharpe wanted to leave was maybe he got sick and tired of all of the nasty attacks on Russell Westbrook and just the total control Skip Bayless had over the show. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly, this is Skip Bayless talking, this ain't me. We're going to play exactly how Undisputed generates its topics every single day. And then we're going to really come back and get into the meat and potatoes of the show here. So take a listen to that.
4 p.m. LA time, I open up a list of the top stories of the day in sports that's assembled by our excellent staff on Undisputed. And off all those stories, I read each one, bam, 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 many down the list. I don't know, it could be 50 stories from that day. And I start making my list of maybe 15 or so possible topics for tomorrow's show. Now, big point of order. I definitely do not try to rig the show in my favor, as in choose topics that I know I can win in tomorrow's debate. Fortunately for me, Shannon and I are naturally, authentically opposed on so many of our pet topics, completely authentically. LeBron, Cowboys, Brady. So those are the obvious thank you God topics as they arise from day to day that make it onto my list. Then I call our producer, Tyler Korn, and I run down the 15 or so topics that I have selected as they relate mostly to Shannon. And I give him a quick opinion on each one just so he knows where I'm headed. It's just like a quick yes or a no type opinion, a nutshell opinion, a capsule opinion. Then he turns around and calls Shannon to get his nutshell sort of capsule opinions, his yeses or nos, without telling him any of my stances on any of the topics. Shannon just blindly is given the topics to respond to, and off the top of his head, shoot from the lip, he just goes bam, 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 bam. And Tyler Korn then types up his 1 or 2 sentence opinions and sends them to me just so I can see that, oh, okay, I got that. A lot of times I can pretty much guess what they'll be. But I want to drive home this point. In my 18 years of doing daily live debate shows, 18 years, not one single time have I ever participated in tricking up or contriving a topic, a debate topic. There has never one time been me reacting with, well, if Shannon thinks that, I could go the other way. I cannot go the other way. I believe what I believe. Trust me, Shannon Sharpe believes with all his heart and soul what he believes. So there's no contriving. It either is or it is not. So when I see his answers to the 15 possible topics, 5 or 6 maybe a day, I'll say, great debate topics. Completely, naturally, authentically opposed.
So I think some people get cracked up when I say the meat and potatoes of it. But anyway, so you heard it. Essentially what happens is Skip Bayless is the driving force of the topics that we hear. He said normally how it works is that on these shows, usually producers come up with a list of topic items. They give it to the cast and then they react to it. But in this case, Skip Bayless, early in that particular show there, he even said that back in his cold pizza days, he would be the one that would actually choose some of the topics. And he said it's something that he has a knack for. So what this information tells me is that all of those times you saw them constantly piling on Russell Westbrook, it was actually Skip that was the driving force. And it made me begin to remember when Skip started to go into these topics, I started to hear Shannon say, come on, Skip. Come on now. Come on, Skip. Oh, man, come on, Skip. Cut it out. Because, Skip Bayless used to put together this compilation of lowlights of Russell Westbrook. And he used to say, come on, Skip, enough is enough. Like, okay, Skip. And then it started getting to the point where Shannon started to defend Russell Westbrook. You see, I'm a very observant person. Whenever these topics would be debuted on a particular segment, they usually ask Shannon Sharpe to go first. So the moment he talks, I'm always paying attention to what's Skip's first reaction to the first sentence or two that Shannon Sharpe says. So whenever they create a topic where Skip is singling out Russell Westbrook to be hypercritical of him, whenever Shannon says something like, I think the Lakers' issues were more than Russell Westbrook, Skip would always say, huh. The reason Skip is saying, is because that's not the sentiment he holds. It's not. And if that's not what Shannon Sharpe believes, why would Shannon Sharpe then produce a show on something like that? Why would you produce a topic on something that you don't believe to be true? It was Skip. And this makes me believe that a lot of those topics that they were discussing on a daily basis was being driven by Skip. And from what I've been hearing recently, that was one of the reasons Shannon Sharpe reportedly, allegedly, wanted to part ways. He wanted to have a little bit more say-so, a little bit more creative control, and Skip wasn't willing to let go of the wheel. He wasn't interested in having a co-pilot, because in Skip's mind, he's like, well, hold on, I'm the one that has the background in television for decades. Number one. Number two, I invited you on the show to be my partner. Number three, I'm the A-side here. Even if you look at the name, Skip and Shannon's undisputed. So why would I now allow you to start, or why would I now start sharing the responsibilities of choosing topics? What history do you have of you got to look at it from both sides, right? You got to look at it from both sides, because there's egos at play here. There's egos. And I think one of the things that causes successful partnerships to fail most times is ego. The ego is a dangerous thing, man. It really is. The ego can talk you into a disastrous ending in your life. Something good will be happening, and then your ego will start kicking in. Hey, man, that should be you. That's one of the things Marco and I, co-founder Dreamerspro, we nib in the butt. We just totally eliminated that. We looked at the situation. We said, okay, who's the best at doing this? Person said that. Said, okay, you do this, I do that. You know why? Because we're gonna get where we want to go faster. But if I'm trying to do what you're doing, and I'm not good at that thing, you're trying to do what I'm doing, and you're not good at this thing, then we're not going to get anywhere. So you eliminate the ego, and you keep your eye on the goal. You move faster, right? But once the ego starts getting into play, and usually what happens is whenever there's a lot of money involved, ego jumps in. Usually when people are broke, they're the best of friends. The moment you involve money, that's when people start breaking up, which is quite interesting when you really sit down and think about it. So that's my take on it. I think Shannon secretly wasn't so keen on some of those topics that they were discussing in some of those shows, in some of the shows that they were producing on a daily basis on Undisputed. So these are my thoughts and opinions. What I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about this particular show? What do you think about what Skip Bayless had to say, and how do you see this thing moving forward? So if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you leave a comment. And actually, what I would like you guys to do is subscribe to Marco's channel. Marco actually has his own channel, the co-founder of Dreamerspro. We're going to pin it in the comment section. He conducts some of the most fantastic interviews with some of the most important figures in history. So make sure you subscribe to Marco's channel that we have pinned in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.